Welcome back. Stock market declines are now leading the headlines. Also, the unemployment numbers and the employment numbers are in front of the Fed. What are they going to do next? Gold has made a slight retraction. We're going to talk about that. And we got some BRICS nations advocates that are now emerging. I'm Eric Sapanik. This is Steve Rand, and this is the Gold Spot. Well, Steve, we are now seeing that NVIDIA, which is dominating the headlines this morning, $200 billion in market losses within a very short amount of time. So that is definitely being driven by the employment numbers. We are seeing a radical cooling when it comes to the employment of more people. Illegal immigration now also dominating that category. So what does this mean for the stock market? What does this mean for gold prices, which we saw retract a little bit? And should they be considering selling their gold right now?
Well, I think that's a question we get occasionally from people. And, you know, when you look around at what's going on in the world right now, it would be a hard time to make a decision to say, I want to sell my lifeboat right now. I've got a lot of clients that are, been seasoned in the market for the last several years. Some of them much longer, some of them maybe a decade and a half, and they're buying right now because they look around at what's going on in the world. They see Turkey wanting to join the BRICS nations right now, which is another major gold holder that's looking to join BRICS. And they realize that the US dollar is in serious trouble long term. So the answer is, why would you sell right now? Why wouldn't you be buying to take advantage of low premiums that we're seeing on products?
Well, especially with the BRICS nations, now looking to expand even more. This is something that is going to be catastrophic for the dollar. The day that this actually becomes a reality, and it is emerging, and these countries are all planning and talking about it. When you look at what's going on with the employment numbers, the consensus right now is that they believe that the Fed is going to try to lower rates. What's your take on that?
Well, they've said it could be up to 1.75 points overall. So we're going to see what they do at the next meeting. It's probably going to be about a quarter point to start, but those could escalate and get larger and larger. And if we look at what happened back in the financial crisis, as soon as things started to get rough with the stock market and with the real estate market, the Fed started reducing those aggressively. And what happened with gold? It went up from $700 all the way up to $1,900, which was a pretty substantial increase. And why wouldn't we expect something similar this time?
I've talked to some of our clients and they said, if the Democrats win this election, we're not talking about some small shift in economic policy or capitalism versus socialism. They're talking about something called unrealized capital gains. Can you explain to us what they're talking about?
Yeah, so picture back in the housing market when your house went up from 200,000 to 500,000 in a very short period of time. Well, if there was an unrealized capital gains that affected everybody, you would actually have to pay a tax on that gain, even though a few years later your house came down in value. So right now they're talking about it for, the billionaire tax, but it's actually $100 million or more if they're talking about people that would have to pay this. But as we know, pushing things like this through is more or less like the gateway drug. That's a way to kind of get something started and then eventually maybe trickle down to a lot more of us that are, not making $100 million. And that's where it gets scary. If that starts to happen, you're talking about a massive tax on people that haven't actually taken any profit. And that's going to not only lead from possibly those things, but thinking about all your investments, your stock portfolio, your housing, all those type of things. And one of the greatest things we have going for us is we have certain products that are very private from a lot of these type of things, which makes it very attractive and why we've had so much business from customers lately once this got announced.
This is why I tell people when it comes to gold, hold the line, don't sell, because we have regardless of what president comes to power in January, we have such massive problems and escalations that are building across the world. The BRICS nations is something that is not being talked about in the major media for a reason. They don't want to spook people about the dollar, but the rest of the world is saying we've had enough. We want to be independent of this currency, and we're going to formulate and create an alliance to do so. And at the head of the helm is China.
Right, and it's 45% of the world's population that's involved in BRICS, and that's before Saudi Arabia, which is probably going to join soon, before Turkey, who is looking to get in, Azerbaijan, and a number of other countries. So that population is growing inside of BRICS on a regular basis, and pretty soon it could be dominated. It could be more than half of the world that could be involved in the BRICS alliance. There's a lot to get through. Take a look at everything that we've talked about. Give us a call if you have any questions, and we'll see you next time on the Gold Spot.
If you enjoyed today's Gold Spot, like or subscribe to both our YouTube or our Rumble channels. Also, comment below if you have any questions or if you want to hear us talk about something specific in a future video.